What is it really like to sell on WhatNot? Pearl Villa is the 100th pattern of the day! Because you see, I have sold on many an online platform, whether it's my own website, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, or Etsy. I have tried just about all of them, except live stream selling, where an individual person takes on the role of auctioneer to an eager internet audience ready to purchase their wares. And so that is what I intend to do today. I am in no way sponsored by WhatNot. I have been in the past. However, for this video in particular, they are not attached to me, nor are they paying me to make this video. But I am sponsored by Spot and Tango, but more on them in a little bit. But here's the thing. This turned from a one-show experiment just to test it out to 7 shows later. And now I have a wealth of information that I would love to share with you. So let's start with the basics. WhatNot says it is the #1 live selling app, which, while eBay, Poshmark, District, and a platform I had never heard from before called Drip all do this kind of live stream selling. From what I can tell, WhatNot is kind of your go-to if you want to do this live selling experience. An experience I did. So let's flash back to my very first WhatNot sale. So here's everything that I prepared. First up, a whole bunch of patterns. So I've got 2 bins full of unchecked patterns. I've got 1 bin full of kids patterns. And then I have a random bin that I pulled that is half kids and half bus 32s. Because listen, a part of the reason I'm doing this is just to kind of get some of this inventory out of my house, because I don't have time to check everything that comes to me, especially after the estate sale where I still have a fair number of those patterns. So let's find those new homes. And I've got my sale right there all ready to go. I am currently 26 minutes, well 25 now, away from actually starting. I have got Post-its to write the number of the item as it sells. I've got my giveaway stickers. Water. This is where my cell phone will be for the show. And one of the biggest tips that I've been told by everyone who does this is to make sure that both items that you're using are plugged in. So yes, I do have a giant cord so I can plug in my phone. And I am gonna try and do it where actually I'm in the frame, which is why I put on lipstick this morning and why I'm talking to you right now. Because those sales apparently tend to do a little better because they can see your face. I don't know if that's true, so we're just gonna try it out. I also made bins for sold patterns versus unsold patterns. I'm hopeful that will actually get somewhat full. And with the count done, it was time to get selling. Good morning. Can you hear me is the real question. And like most lives, I like to chat with folks before I actually begin. Huzzah! Hi, Pinky Patterns. No, this is my literal very first show. Never done this before, so it's gonna be a adventure. For those just joining us, hi, my name's Stephanie Canada. We're doing vintage patterns today, but first, I'm also a YouTuber, so we're doing this. All right, so everyone knows that they are in the video as of right now. Say hi, everybody. There's everyone in the chat. And with that, I got right into selling. However, watching back the footage of these sales out of context feels like my application to a grippy sock vacation. Hello. All right, thank you, Scorpio.
Later that same evening.
Oh my goodness, y'all. I did it. I went from like, yeah, I'll do this for like 90 minutes. Nope, two and a half hours later, I have very little voice, but it was so good. It was so good. I wavered between like 28 to 35 people in my show at any time. I sold 60 patterns, 60, which is so great. I didn't check these because, and I started them really low. Like all of my bids started at $2, so that way there was a good entry. I'm so happy. It was so much fun. It was lovely getting to chat with people, hear from people who watch me on YouTube. They'd be scrolling, they'd be like, wait, I know you. So that was super sweet. But I'm not done, right? Because now that you've done a show, now you have to ship everything. And once I was done with my creative fulfillment process, it was time to take a break to feed the dogs. And I'm doing so with today's sponsor, Spot and Tango. Now, Candy here, see, look how pretty she is. She's such a pretty, pretty princess. But her tummy, is not a fan of all foods. Goodbye. However, my marshmallow man right here is what we like to call the trash compactor of our family. Aren't you? You're the cutest little trash compactor. He will eat literally anything. But as I don't actually want him eating anything, I want him to eat well so that he stays around for a long, long time. Huh, Candy Girly? See, we want both of our dogs to be around us as long as possible. And that is where Spot and Tango is coming in to help out the Marshmallow Man. Because Spot and Tango has no artificial ingredients anywhere. Every single ingredient is written right on the front of the bag. It even comes with a little scoop that you can write your pup's name on so you know which one is which. And each scoop is specialized to the size of each dog because the food combines the benefits of fresh food with the convenience of dry food. Which is great for me because honestly, I can just pop that on the counter and I don't have to worry about fridge space at all. And UnKibble is cooked at low temperatures, which preserves nearly 99% of the flavor, aroma, and nutrients. So if you want your pup to try out Spot and Tangle, you can click the link down below and use his code, Marshmallow60, to get 60% off of your first order. And if for some reason your pup doesn't like it, Spot and Tango will refund your money. And thank you to Spot and Tango for sponsoring today's video and my Marshmallow Man's lovely diet. But now, I think it's time to actually get started with that show. Oh, I gotta get up, but the moosh is so cute. Oh, thank you. Now over the next few days, I dove headfirst into shows, trying out selling trim both by the yard and pre-cut, vintage fabrics, selling patterns that were requested in a previous show, a show where I weighed every single pattern, and selling 100 patterns in one show. It is M8338 1930s, which could be late 30s, early 40s. It's gonna be the biggest size range. So you're a 36 through a 44, $3, go for it. Who wants them the calls? Pearl Villa is the 100th pattern of the day! Ha ha! Oh my god. Okay, I just did, what was the last one? I sold 112 patterns and made a right mess of my existence, but I did it. It took 5 hours and 10 minutes, which is solidly 2 hours longer than I thought it was gonna take to do that. And after doing all of these shows, here are my key takeaways. Number 1, before you do anything, you want to do WhatNot Seller Academy, because they break down a whole bunch of the nitty-gritty of this website before you even attempt your first auction. It is an invaluable resource if you want to try this out. And once you've gone through the university, do not go to the thrift store and just start grabbing things to resell. Look around your house first at the stuff you already own that you might just be ready to find a new home. Because putting an investment into this platform before you know if you even really want to actually try it out long term is not the way to go. Prep your sales. You need to be so prepared to be able to do these. Even though weighing every single pattern was absolutely mind-numbing, it was so helpful because when I was going through that sale, I could just check 0 to 1 ounce and all the patterns that fell below the 1 ounce mark went into that category. It'll save the buyers on shipping fees, it'll save you for time hassle and potential overages on your shipping fees. You also need to make sure that you have labels to put on your items, extra pins in case one runs out, and absolutely use those bin ideas because it is so helpful to know which ones have sold and which ones did not. Because occasionally you might get someone who asks to rerun something from the unsold bin, and it will behoove you if you can actually find it. I'm looking at myself right now. I'm not you, you're great. I'm the one that had the problem with that. During your show, drink water. My voice the first day after I had done this was so raspy because I drank exactly 0 amounts of water. So to keep your vocal cords lubricated, you really want to make sure you're drinking water. And if you're going to do a marathon show, which usually is anything over 2 hours, you do want to see about setting up a moderator so that way you can take a quick break, like eating a snack, going to the bathroom, because it's not always possible to have 2 people with you working on this sale, so you kind of have to be able to carry it on your own And if you have a moderator in the chat, they can sort of help during your break, be like, hey, by the way, this person will be right back. I'm gonna say it again. Shipping is key. For me at the beginning, I was just randomly pulling patterns and hoping that I had guessed correctly on the shipping, because WhatNot shipping is absolutely very strictly regulated. Each item you list must have the correct weight zone picked prior to running the item at auction. And if at any point your patterns or your weight of your packet goes over what WhatNot calculated, which is what you told it when you were selling the item, then you, the seller, are responsible for paying the extra if you underestimated. The flip side also is there, because if you overcharge the buyer, that's on them that they pay for, and WhatNot, if the package clocks in lower, does not refund if there was a difference. They just keep it. Not the seller, WhatNot. Because WhatNot gets all of those shipping fees, because technically as a seller, my shipping cost is 0 unless I have messed up the weight. However, there is an updated shipping policy coming August 1st, where they are eliminating the priority flat rate option in favor of ground advantage. So we'll see how that affects sales starting August 1st. The last thing to call out is the timer for shipping. As you finish out your show, you see a timer that is 48 hours from the end of your sale. This is to ensure that all packages are shipped in a timely fashion. However, me being the stage manager that I am, I saw that as a challenge to get as much of it done as possible, as fast as possible. I would not recommend this tactic. Hi, I'm in my bathroom. It's almost 1 a.m. after my second WhatNot show in 2 days, but I will say I've gotten almost all of the orders ready to go. This time counter is a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And my throat is dry and crackly from talking for far too long. Understand those fees as best you can. I am not going to sit here and say that finding the fees on WhatNot was the easiest thing to do. However, with DaddyDuckDuckGo, it was relatively easy to go WhatNot fees, and it pulled me to the correct tab. Just make sure you know the fees going in, because that will tell you where you can set your prices. That way, if it only sells for your base price, you aren't frustrated. And I'm just going to say, the functionality sometimes is not the best. There would be times that folks would tell me that they couldn't actually bid because their connection died. There would be times where I personally was kicked out of a sale and the whole website went down while I was filling orders. So just know that there's still some kinks they're working out, and sometimes it's just gonna WhatNot. So stay calm, and if you really want to keep selling, keep going. And on a more serious note, there will be sellers that you will come across on this platform that will be treating the platform allegedly like a casino, where they are doing mystery pulls, they're doing mystery bundles, you're bidding up for things you've never seen before. I'm just here to stress the idea that you should know what you're buying. And I say that as a person who sells mystery boxes, but when I sell a mystery box, I tell you what the errors of the patterns are, how many you're gonna get, the fact that I haven't checked them, so you are buying them sight unseen, and so you're getting more information. But there are people out there who will just treat it like a casino, allegedly, and will leave a fat quarter set up on a screen. You will be bidding not for the thing on the screen, but for maybe something adjacent to it. I don't recommend those sales. Swipe on by, find another seller, because those are just designed for people who want your top dollar without actually showing you the item, which to me, as a seller, is lazy, ineffective, and you, as the buyer, could get scammed because you're technically bidding on stuff you've never seen. So please just take it with a grain of salt. If you see sellers that are doing that, exit out, find a new one. There are tons of amazing sellers on WhatNot that are actually selling you the thing in front of you, so don't give in to the folks that are trying to treat it like their own personal casino, allegedly. This is a microtransactional platform. That means that every time you bid on an item, your card or your credits are deducted immediately, which also means that from each item, the tax is also deducted immediately. So when you are setting your budget, which I do stress you should do on this platform, make sure that you know where your limit is. Because you can get into a frenzy, especially on marathons. Oh, I've already gotten to the free shipping mark. Oh, I can just add as many as I want. As a seller, while I love to see that folks want that many patterns, I don't want it to come at the cost of you overblowing your budget because you like me, or you like the seller, or you're just in a frenzy and you want to keep bidding. Make sure that if those are your tendencies, that you find ways to set up systems before the show to keep yourself and your budget in check. Especially in 2026, I just want to make sure that we're all very carefully supporting the folks that we actually want to support and not running ourselves into debt. Sellers on WhatNot, come here. I'm not mad. I just want to talk. AI images, generative AI images of yourself or your products don't actually help your sales. Now, I have made some very fun WhatNot friends that do use those. They are good people, but I'm just saying we can do better. We can all collectively do better because generative AI as your lead photo does not make me want to go into your sale. The description does, and I would prefer to see an example of what's coming up in that show. Real stuff. Even if it's just like stuff from previous times, like take a stock photo of patterns or take a stock photo of fabrics and use that. There is one person who does that, and I love shopping with her. When she does a toy sale, it's a little duck that she took a photo of, and when she does a fabric sale, it's another actual physical image that she took a photo of. I will spend so much money with her because I know that she understood the assignment to not use generative AI. It's not cute. It is highly resource heavy as far as water to maintain it. It creates an immense amount of heat. Data centers are disproportionately placed in black and brown neighborhoods, and it was trained off of stolen artist data. It was trained off of my videos too, okay? So yes, I really hate generative AI, and if I could get the whole platform to ban it, I would. However, if you are one of the sellers that I follow and watch and have paid from, please reconsider. That's all I'm asking. There's better ways to do it. Artists, like commissioned artists, aren't actually that expensive. Go to Instagram, send them a DM, or look in there if their commissions are open. A lot of the times you can get a super cute, like little photo of yourself that's hand drawn, whether it's in Procreate or actually drawn, for like $70 was the cheapest I saw. And it went up to like $150. And that supports a real human. And we're making money on these platforms, so we should be able to give back to the communities in other areas. That's how you create community on a larger scale outside of an online platform. I'll also link my 2 favorites in the comments below, just so you have them, just in case you want to reach out to them, because they're awesome. Speaking of community, WhatNot really fills the gap from the lack of Instagram pushing out small businesses and TikTok going into the literal flaming trash can. So for small businesses, this is a key platform now. I really, truly believe that. However, when you are building these communities, make sure that you are nurturing the community as well as asking people to buy from you. Because when I am going through my shows, I'm making sure that I give people as much information as possible. When the pattern is from, what size it is, if it's complete, if it's been cut, and little tidbits along the way for how to store things, what eras I like the best, what lines I see in this dress or this pattern or this craft. Giving back to these communities that you are trying to build is going to be key to move forward and to help your buyers be happy and to keep coming back to you as a seller. But overall, would I use WhatNot again? Yes, absolutely. Yes, there are issues. However, especially in this moment right now when I am looking to move. Yes, that's right, folks. You heard me correctly. I'm going to be moving out of Florida. That's right. I finally get to do it. I'm so excited. And that's why I have been using this platform, because I am trying to clear out as much stuff as I possibly can. Which means that if you would like to join me on my next WhatNot sale, it's actually tomorrow, Monday, June 30th at 12 noon Eastern Time. I will be going for probably about 3 hours again, just to get as many unchecked patterns out as possible. So if you want to do that and join me, there is a way. Again, I am not sponsored by them. I am sponsored by Spot and Tango, so if you want to get 60% off of your first order, make sure you use my code marshmallow60 to sign up. So if you do want to join me over on my WhatNot sale, you can optionally use my link down below where it says WhatNot, and you can sign up as a buyer and receive $25 WhatNot credit when you first sign up. And for full transparency, once you complete your first transaction on WhatNot fully, as in you get your item, I get a $5 credit as the seller that recommended you. Which basically means you get $25 free to come shop with me tomorrow. Now, if you're a seller and you think, wow, this actually sounds like a platform for me, again, not sponsored. However, there is another link below that will say WhatNot seller. And when you sign up to be a seller on the platform, you can get a $150 bonus when you sign up using my link. And once you complete your first sale, then what will happen is I will then get a $100 credit to WhatNot. Again, there is no pressure. You do not have to use any of these links. You can just creep on in if you want, or you can just be like, you know what, Steph? Not for me. And that is okay. But I wanted to let you know, just in case you wanted to get those sweet, sweet bonuses and a little bit of free cash. Now, let's talk financials. Now, WhatNot does standardly take an 8% fee plus 2.9% and a 30-cent transaction fee for every single transaction, which means that when I would sell something for $1, I would see 65 cents of that sale. Over my first 7 sales, I made $1,288.21. However, $250 of that was the bonuses that I had signed up for. So if you take that away, I actually made $1,038.21 off of just selling patterns, fabrics, and trims. But I hope you enjoyed this little breakdown. I know I haven't done one of these in a while, and I needed to get some stuff out, so I wanted to do this video. Also, for full transparency, you will be getting a couple more decluttering videos. I don't think this should shock anyone now that you know that I'm moving house, but I do want to let you know that that's kind of what's coming up for the next couple videos, because sewing content is going to be low for a little bit because, well, I'm gonna have to pack literally everything. Although I do think I'm gonna sneak in one more of my favorite dress before I leave this house. So keep an eye out for that. But what that means then is I need you to be sewing in chaos while I can't. But I will see you next time, friends. And please do go sew in chaos. Go forth and enjoy while I pack up my entire existence. The things you do to not get sued. I don't know if that was any good, but at least I have something.